there's a new kind of technologies coming out that definitely affect our brain health. So there is, AI and virtual realities that are coming out, and notably like ChatGPT, for example, that's coming out. And what are your opinions on those AIs that are coming out, and how would that affect our brain health, in your opinion?
The artificial intelligence thing, I think, is quite amusing, because it's not artificial intelligence. There's nothing intelligent about those algorithms, because they are simply algorithms based on support vector machines. And we've had those support vector machines learning algorithms around for 30, 40 years. The only thing that's changed is we've now got so much data that they actually look as though they're intelligent, but they're not. They're no more intelligent than they were 30 years ago. I was one of the first people to use those algorithms to analyse fMRI data and neuroimaging data when I was at MIT, and published some work on that, and did that for many, many years. So it's not actually intelligent, because learning is not intelligence, right? You can get an amoeba to learn. You can get a slug to learn something. Intelligence is actually generating new idea, and those artificial intelligence algorithms used that they call artificial intelligence don't create any new ideas. What they do is they just regurgitate what's actually out there. They grab stuff from the internet, they grab stuff from
they pretend they're
their
smart
memory banks, and put it together and pretend to be intelligent. And I know there's a whole bunch of influencers out there that do the same thing, right? They pretend to be intelligent by respurting everybody else's ideas, and that's probably what we're confused about these artificial intelligence algorithms, because we have a whole bunch of influencers that do the same thing, and so we think, they must be intelligent. They're not intelligent. So I'm not that concerned about it. I've played around with them. If I was a computer scientist, I'd be a little bit concerned, because they're amazing at actually generating code. So and if I was a parent who'd spent thousands of dollars on getting my kid to go to coding camps and all these sorts of things, so that they could become a coder when they were later on, I'd be concerned there, because these things are really good at creating code, and really, really good at programming for you. And that's not an area that's been discussed at all, which is funny, because that's an area that it will completely take over, I think. And I've done that a few times on there, and it does that really well. But as far as like writing, it's not really that. I don't think it's that interesting, and it's not. It's just mimicking what's there, so it's not actually producing anything new. Whereas a writer or an author will create new ideas and create new thought and create new ways of thinking about things. And so that the real writers and the real authors and that won't be affected by this as much as people think they will be at the moment. For universities and for schools, it's just going to make them a little bit more honest, right? They're actually going to have to, give students written tasks, and then they're going to have to mark them themselves to make sure that they're not using these ChatGPT or whatever to actually write those essays. But you can tell the difference. There's been lots of things on the YouTube and stuff where people have competed with the ChatGPT to see whether or not they can tell which one was written by a person, which one was written by ChatGPT, and that people are really good at picking up the one that's ChatGPT versus the one that's actually a real person. Because it's just boring. So I'm not that concerned about it. Sorry. I'd be concerned if I was a computer scientist.
That's okay. It's a good way to look at it, because I know a lot of there's a lot of fear mongering going on, and a lot of people are worried about it. Personally, I was a little worried about it, and I think we all have a little maybe concern about it, but it's good that we're clearing it up.
Yeah, maybe because it's still in its early stages. Wouldn't it one day, let's say like 50 years from now, could AI be indistinguishable from some of the things that we would create?
We need to. There needs to be a big leap in our in what the understanding, or how it's actually programmed. At the moment, we're only playing around with support vector machines. So basically what they do is you feed them a lot of data, and you tell them this is this category and this is this category. So learn how to tell those two categories apart, and then this is this category, and learn how to tell those two categories apart. Learn what a noun is versus a verb. Learn what a thing is versus a thing. And then these are all the rules associated with that. So now put it all together based on all this stuff that you've learned, based on all the stuff that we've inputted to you. And that's not intelligence, because intelligence requires an extra level. It requires metacognition, and it requires the ability to come up with new concepts and new ideas. So And the programs that we've currently got will never be able to do that because that's not what they do. They just learn what's out there and then regurgitate it, and learn what's out there based on what you're inputting. So we need some sort of quantum leap in those programs to actually get to the point where it is a worry. And yes, if we did come up with artificial intelligence, if we really did come up with then I'd be worried. I'd be seriously worried.
Okay. Currently, you're not worried.
Yeah.
No, with what we've got at the moment isn't artificial intelligence, so I'm not worried. If we do come up with artificial intelligence, I'll be the first one that'll be signing up to to close it on as quickly as possible, because then it's a problem. Then it's a huge problem.
So you're saying right now, like the AI that we have is more like a data collection tool that's able to kind of regurgitate the correct information rather than actually think on its own and solve questions, write books and whatever. That's where you stand right now, right? So that's why you're not concerned. Okay, so you wouldn't think that there would ever be some kind of interaction between AI and our brains? Like would our brains ever evolve in the same way as AI is evolving, or would they always be separate, kind of thing?
Yeah. So I mean, at the moment, the AI is just learning algorithms, which is part of what we do, part of what our brains do. It takes in information and stores it in our long-term memory. So it is part of what we do. But the bit that makes us intelligent, as far as I'm concerned, and I think most people would agree, is the fact that we can then take that information and come up with completely new ideas. People, like Henry Ford, came up with a motor car, right? Everybody was riding around on horses, and then he came up with this completely new idea. The current algorithms that we've got, we could never be able to do that. We'd never come up with a completely new thing out of nothing. It can combine different things, and so it's never actually going to be acting independently. If we do get that, I'm going to get scared.
I see that.